Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be doing another first impressions of a couple of things that have been announced in Japan. Been a little busy the last couple of days, we're distracted, but version 12.4 has come out, and as alluded beforehand, we have the changes to extra latent slot Tamadra. So in essence, we don't need the extra 297 to expand the latent slots of your monster. They're using Mirror as an example, which is kind of strange because this is 2017. But the point of the matter is we can save our 297s in anticipation for this update in about 3 months' time. The next thing is a sad Tamadra. It looks very sad and heartbreaking, and basically the idea of a sad Tamadra is it will reset the card's awakenings back to 0. So you may think, why would I ever want to unawaken something? Well, the only reason why you want to unawaken something is if you don't want those killers or certain damaging elements to be active anymore. This is only a concern when there's damage control necessary. We don't have too much needs for damage control. I feel that the sad P, like basically it's a special P or pi that resets your monster's active skill cooldown, could be more beneficial because especially with the weapon series allowing to add extra awakenings, you don't want them necessarily skilled up. So having them unskilled allows you to still use the base cards active. So these resets can be beneficial in certain niche scenarios. Now, there's 5 new awakenings, and these are basically super forms of already existing awakenings. And we're going to now have Bind Resist Plus, so now it fully resists Bind. So instead of having to take 2 awakened slots of your 9, you now only need 1. So now your monsters are able to have basically more value overall, which is a big deal. We have plus Time Extend. It's going to be helpful for certain combo-based teams, of course, because again, maybe if it's, say, double the value, let's say, you only need to have, say, 2 of those to equal say, Yomi's or Yuna's 4. The Cloud Resist, so you know those weird white clouds that appear? You can move orbs through them, you just can't see when that's there. It makes sense that such an awakening comes out. We have counters to like Blind Resist, Jammers, etc. So now why not have something that resists clouds? And then of course we have like the Tape Resist or Board Restrict. So basically something like Kepri or Azel, as they say in the article here. Basically resisting those can be beneficial because those strips can greatly reduce your basic combo potential because now you have the whole board to work with instead of a restricted size board. And now you have Skill Boost Plus. So now it's 2 skill boosts. And 2 skill boosts can offer a lot of value for your teams because again, even though we have options like Whale Door and Tengus that are farmable that give 4 and 5 or 5 and 4 respectively, we can never have too many skill boosts. And we're finding now with these challenges like the Hera Nyx dungeon that we want to have strong skill boost cards because it can be problematic when you enter a dungeon and nothing is ready. So if we start seeing more cards with double skill boosts, it's going to help alleviate that problem of having base actives or inherits come up in time. And this is different than Skill Charge. Skill Charge allows you to match Rainbow and give that monster personal haste. That's going to only help that one individual monster as you go through the dungeon. It's not going to help you have things ready on turn 1. So double skill boost, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see double skill bind resist, or even like an improved TPA, or even like say an 8 combo instead of 7 combo. We can like, there's lots of room to make awakenings better and just kind of power creep them to a certain extent. And one nice thing about Gung Ho and Puzzle and Dragons is that old cards get recycled. So there is a chance our very old and loved cards are going to gain these new awakenings, which will dramatically open up options for team building potential. And now we have a search bar in our monster box, so now we can find whatever we're looking for more easily. I think that's something that's great. That should have happened a while ago. And this guy has a lot of green Odins, which is kind of special at the same time. Secret advertisement for abs. All right, so next one. So this is something that's quite exciting for a lot of people, that there is going to be a full Metal Alchemist collab coming to Japan. We don't know if it's going to come to North America. Maybe because it seems to be a very popular franchise or universe that is known to at least a lot of North American players. So there may be the chance it comes to North America. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to include. You just see the characters. We don't know their stats, their awakenings, their active skills, but if they're going to follow like in the path of like other strong collabs, which seems to be the trend now, we're making collabs very powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if Full Metal Alchemist comes out with cards that are very strong, because they want you to roll in collabs to distract you from Godfest. Because a lot of collab cards nowadays are becoming so unique you cannot replicate them anywhere else. Like for example, Final Fantasy has the pixel cards that are so overwhelmingly powerful and somewhat the key to success for beating these Hera Nyx dungeons, which is kind of unfortunate. And then we have obviously Monster Hunter with Diablos and Amatsu are just ridiculous. And you can see the trend that they're going through. They're pumping out really strong collab cards, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is strong. I guess our hope is now that will it come to North America. And then last but not least, we are getting an animated card part of a quest reward. It's basically saying that in January, approximately time frame for North America, Korea, Europe, we're going to have this as a quest reward. And they have basically active skill that greatly reduces enemies' defense for 1 turn. So I'm going to presume it's maybe 75%. That's something along like the lines of Hino in terms of defense break. And they produce a rainbow board with hearts. So producing hearts is obviously very powerful and desirable. The only downside is we have a 16 turn cooldown. So Dark Kali base active is 7 turns. So we're paying essentially 9 turns for a defense break. So there's no saving, so to speak. I guess as a saving grace is that he actually has the skill charge awakening, or she does. And the skill charge will allow them to basically trigger their, well, it'll be basically giving them self-haste every single turn, because their leader skill is at 3 times attack and recovery for dragon types, which is fantastic actually. But then you also get 2 bonus seconds movement time. So they have no awakenings, but their powers in their leader skill. So you want to use them as a leader. And then you have 5 times attack and slightly reduced damage, I'm going to guess 25%, when you match all 5 colors. Or sorry, when you match 5 elements, so 4 colors plus hard orbs are included. So basically, they have an easy access to skill charge. So you can almost imagine that instead of 16 turns, it's almost like 8. So then it actually becomes quite on par with Dark Kali active, but you get the defense break at the same time. But this is actually a very high multiplier. This is 3 times 5, which is 15. 15 times 15 is 225 times. So this is actually quite significant. And there are a lot of strong dragons. Like there's Odin Dragon, there's Ragnarok Dragon. And interesting thing is they're covering red. So if you don't have Dark Kali, you're able to cover yourself with this new character. So this is exciting. At least everyone or a lot of players have at least access to gaining this card. So I'm excited to get my hands on something that's actually reasonably powerful for a rainbow card. What is next? And now we have, I can't say their name. I don't know their name. It's a farmable descend boss. It gets a new evolution. Gives 4 seconds movement time, 3 times attack, and then 1.5 times attack, 2.5. Like, the multiplier is not very high for dragons. It gives you some health. Maybe it can be a budget alternative pairing for something like Amino, or even say Xiumin, the yellow 4 gentleman. Like maybe alternative budget pairings, but I don't really foresee this one making too much of an impact. So to recap, the new monthly quest reward drop is exciting. It'll give players a chance to enjoy playing a powerful rainbow leader. It will give value to Sharius, as well as all his Sharius roots, Odin Dragon, Ragnarok Dragon, which is quite exciting. Full Metal Alchemist, hopefully it comes to North America, we don't know. And then I'd say here the new awakenings, as well as the Sad Tama and the changes to latent slot, extra latent slot Tamadra. So hopefully this preview is exciting, and I guess a little bit of interesting parts for my website. I've been quite busy in real life, a lot of things have been happening, but I'm currently working on an article that's going to give you advice and suggestions for purchasing Monster Point cards starting now in November, based on like the time frame we have in November. So it'll give you advice on all the currently ones available, as well as the future evolutions for the 4 gentlemen, because we might as well start planning ahead of time for those cards to come. So wish you all the best of luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.